So welcome to episode 2. And I want to talk today about what's it called, because this idea, if you listened to the first episode, if you saw me live here, if you have caught up on the podcast, then you will know that I have had the idea of doing a podcast for a minute. And hi gorgeousness. And it's kind, when it's in your conscious brain, you're like, this is a good idea. I like it. Why aren't I doing anything with it? I like it. Why aren't I doing anything with it? And I keep percolating and coming in. Hi you, I hope you're good. I keep coming to this idea. And I didn't really know how to go about it until the night before last, when all of a sudden it was like the subconscious came up in a roar through the unconscious, like, get out of the way. I don't care what limiting beliefs and what stories are in the way, like, we're done. Straight through to my brain. And that's those downloads. They're those moments of like, oh, like I've known it's something. I know it's what I'm meant to be doing. But this is what it looks like now. So I kind of came straight on live. Why? Because what the conscious brain wants to do, when we have these ideas, the conscious brain wants to go, well, just think about it. Just wait. Just plan. Well, this is my conscious brain anyway. And I know, I've worked with a lot of people. I know this is pretty universal. Just plan. Figure it out. Think about it for a long time first. Like, strategize it. Make sure you've got the branding. Make sure you've got this. Make sure you've got that. And I'm like, oh, don't forget. Remember, Emma. Remember, you don't do business that way. You've never done business that way. That's why it works. You don't get caught in your conscious brain. You are the master of awakening that inner power in and around when the conscious brain goes, no, wait, pause, let's think about it. You know how to awaken around that and go, no, we're doing it now. So it was, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. I lay in bed with Rue. And I lay there for quite some time after just letting it seep in me, and like, oh, this feels really good. It feels really aligned. I feel like, although I can't see, this is the message, isn't it? You can see a couple of steps ahead, but you can't see too far ahead. It's that magical balanced space of being able to see, oh, I kind of know this is what I want to do. I've kind of got that feeling towards it, and you start stepping. It's like, I don't know what the big picture looks like. And the conscious brain is like, you can only do it if you know the big picture. You can only do it if you absolutely can put a pin in what it's going to look like, and then you step. And I noticed, I lay there in bed just observing it all, being like, oh, look how much my brain wants to know absolutely what this means for me. Look how excited I am in that moment of realizing, well, this is my step. This is my next step. This is what it looks like right now. Go do it. And I was watching it all. My conscious brain was going, no, it's late. You've had a day. Go to bed. Go to bed. You're tired. Go sleep on it. Do it in the morning. And it was like Francis and Toad and Bob versus me, with Rupert next to me, all lying in bed. And I was like, God damn it, I'm doing it. So I just got up. I had no idea about my branding, about the name, about anything about it. I didn't truly know. I just knew that I needed to move with this energy of this is it. The universe or God or whatever it is we want to call it. I don't know what to call it, but this energy that wants us to win will get behind us when it feels as being absolute. We can sit in our conscious brain thinking about things until the day we die, and so many of us, and me for 30 years, get caught up in that, like, oh, maybe tomorrow, maybe I might do. No, I wanted to go to bed. I was tired because it was 11 o'clock at night. I'm a human. I wanted to go to bed, but no. I came downstairs and I spoke life into it. That was the catalyst. That is when the universe is like, oh, she's serious. Oh, she's for reals. Like, yeah, she wanted to go to bed. But that awakening of that inner power, no, I'm not. And I came and I spoke into it, and it was gibberish. I'm sure if I go back and listen to it, it was pretty nonsensical, but it was enough to spark the fire in me again. So yesterday I spent time thinking, the name just came, of course. I was like, oh, because I took that action when I didn't really know. I was like, I'm doing this. This is really happening. I'm going to do it. The next day when I actively was like, okay, so what? What's the vibe? What's it going to be? What's the name? What's everything about it? It just came, and then it flowed, and I got the branding, and I love doing that creative process. So I put all my energy into doing that, and it came to life. And again, today I've been out with the boys. We were getting cabin fever. I've been working on a secret project. That's nothing to do with me or my work. It's to do with Wade, which I'll show you tomorrow. So I've been busy doing that. The boys have been feral because I've kind of left them to their own devices for like intermittently popping in. We were all getting cabin fever. So we went out, we went for a big walk, and then we came back. And again, I was like, oh, I don't want, but because I've started this chain reaction of energy moving through, it carries you. The compound effect of how I became an anxious mess, 30 years of this continual repeated cycle. Well, now I've created new energy around my life. I've created new cycles, and they're really bloody good. This energy that I'm putting into this project of bringing my work into a podcast so that I can be a voice in somebody's ears on a day when they need it. Not because they're struggling. I don't believe that when we struggle, I believe, and my experience is the better I get, the better. But the more knowledge I gain, the more paradigms I shift into, the more hungry I am to learn. So don't think I'm trying to say that you need to be struggling for this work. We're brilliant and we get to access new levels through it. So I hope somebody, when they're walking along or they're doing the big shop and they hate it as much as me and they're like, give me some wisdom in my ears while I'm pushing my trolley around, like not wanting to be here. I hope that this will be accessible and available to people to be able to be like, oh, that's what I needed to hear today. And it's just that spark. It's that spark that brings the whole universe behind us. Like, oh, she's for real. She's serious. Let's friggin' go. And the energy of the universe behind us means that we do it. At 11 o'clock at night, we have that fire in us like, oh no, I'm going to do this. We get back from a walk and it's late and we haven't eaten. And I'm like, no, this is important. Like the energy that we get behind us, and I can feel it when I'm talking about it, it's immense, means that we get to live it out, means that we get to actualize it, means that it gets to be. So the name for my podcast is going to be Let's Spill the Tea, because I love a brew. I absolutely love a brew. So join me with your brew, and I'm gonna maybe get familiar with times, but if not, it will be recorded and on the podcast. So get a brew, spill the tea on being free from anxiety, because that notion, being free from anxiety forever, that makes most of our conscious brains go, what? I don't know who I'd be without anxiety, or I didn't yeah, it's completely and utterly accessible and not to a special few. I'm not magic. I am magic, but you're magic. You're as equally as magical as I am, as the most profound beings in this world. What they found out how to do was to control the human conscious brain, to control that part of them that just puts us in survival mode and has us functioning our way through our life. When we learn how to do that, we get to be totally and utterly free. And only then, now people will come at me for this and I'm happy, only then can we truly step into who we're here to be, so that our work so we know what we're here to do, so that our work gets to flow through. It has to happen in that order. Now you can say to me, and there are some incredible beings, and Matthew Perry today, I can't remember his name. I wanted to call him Chandler, but then I read something where he hated people calling him Chandler, so that felt really disrespectful today. Like, he made it. Robin Williams, they made it. But they were never the person they were here to be. They struggled with their conscious mind and an inability to be able, God, this went dark, didn't it, Soz? An inability to be able to navigate their mind. I think so many of us have been in those spaces and places where it's like, honestly, it would feel simpler if I just wasn't here right now. And we're sitting here because in those moments we're like, hang on a minute, like I want to be alive, but I just don't want this. we can have levels of success, and you can come at me with like, well, what about this person? They've done this, they've done that, they've done the other, and they talk about their mental health, they talk about having anxiety, and like it's a driver and it's this and that. Yeah, I'm not just talking about financial impact. Yes, that does seem to go hand in hand, especially when you create a business from this heartfelt open space. But I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the freedom that comes with being who you're here to be. And that can only be actualized when you free yourself from anxiety, when you free yourself from the anxiety just lives in the conscious brain. And when you recognize how your conscious brain is made up of 3 elements: a fiend, a toad, and a monkey. When you realize that your brain is made up of those 3 elements, and you can actively distinguish when those 3 elements are taking part in your world. And in the podcast, we're going to go into how all of those things work. When you can do that, you get to be free from anxiety. And if you'd have told me 3 years ago you would be free from anxiety, I would have shit and puked and laughed in your face. Pretty much. No. And yet, here I am proclaiming to the world, it gets to be accessible. And it does. And I'm going to spill the tea on all of it. And I'm going to make sure there's opportunities where people, hello gorgeous, where people get to ask me questions if they want to ask questions about it. But what I want is to be able to give as many people as tangibly, humanly possible access to the ease in which they get to access the conscious brain and distinguish between that part of them that just is ruining everything, and then who we truly are, who you truly are, who I truly am, because that's what we're here to be. And when we know that, our work comes to the surface, and what we're here to do comes through, and it gets to flow through us with ease. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are somebody that is passionate about more, passionate about doing something more with your life, you're looking out there and you're like, this can't be it, there's more than this literally can't be my life, and you want to do something about it, you just don't want to passively sit and hope and wish that it was different. I hate wishing, I hate hoping, I hate praying. I'm like, no, none of those things. If you truly want life to be different and you are willing to be active in the process of it, I have got magic that I want to spill the tea on it all. So this is episode 2, and the name, let's spill the tea on being anxiety free. I'm going to share the branding, and I'm going to share where you can get access to the podcast in my stories. So if you would like to subscribe and be kept up to date on what I'm getting up to and what I'm spilling the tea on, then please take a peek in my stories on Instagram at More Than This by Emma Upton. I hope you have the loveliest Sunday, Surrender Sunday. Arthur was like, who's Yellow? One of my little twins. I'm like, she's not there, but she is here in the book. It's Yellow, it's Surrender Sunday. Thank you for being here. I will catch up with you tomorrow. Much love. Love you.